Welcome to the Shotmaker podcast. This podcast is all about you and your mindset. There are so many things out there that we can't control, but this podcast is all about digging into what we can control and learning from operators, owners, thought leaders who all believe that it is all about mindset.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Welcome to our Shotmaker podcast. I'm so excited. We are joined today by Kyle Rheiner, our insurance expert and friend of the show. So thank you so much, Kyle, for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. I am looking forward to what comes out of this.
Yes. Well, as you know, this podcast is a lot about mindset, definitely hospitality industry. But where I'd love to start is your background. How did you get into insurance, the hospitality industry? Tell us your story.
Okay. So we can go back to hospitality industry. So my mom was always a waitress and a bartender as far as I've ever known. And then once, I was bussing tables at 12 or 14. I don't even know if that was legal, but I was doing it. So that's what I always knew. I always liked it. And then, when you're bartending or serving, it's like, hey, I worked today and I came home with money in my pocket. And that was instant gratification, right? That was great. So as soon as I could serve tables and bartend, I was doing that. And I just always enjoyed it. Every day was different. You're always dealing with, different folks, and it's a service industry, and you got to be quick and you got to do it right. And, you got to fix it if you screw up. Right. So kind of like insurance too. Right. So that was what I did. When I went to college, I was still, working on the weekends. Essentially, it put myself through college. After college, I was stuck with a bunch of, a boatload of college loans I should pay. So I eventually put myself through college after college, I guess, because I paid all my loans back. So I went to college. I was an accounting major. I did not like it. No offense. I'm sorry. It wasn't for me.
It's okay.
So I did that for 3 years. And I was like, I don't get this. I don't like it. But I had now I have some sort of base and foundation. So I switched to a marketing major my senior year, or even summer going into my senior year. And I took extra classes. I finished on time. And that was that spoke to me. I really enjoyed marketing, advertising, and doing those things. And then what that career would lend itself to. Your parents tell you, right? Go to college and get a job, right? With benefits. And, so I graduated on Saturday. I went to work in the financial services industry at ING, Big Orange Lion, and I was selling variable annuities. So I got all these, Series 6, 63, life insurance, 65, all these different licenses, securities licenses, mutual funds, variable annuities were what we were selling. And I kind of honestly from that, I did that 7 years. I did 4 years at ING. Everybody, it was then, 2008, 2009, 2010 happened. Everybody around me got laid off. We went from having 130 people on the sales desk to 12, and I'm still sitting there and all the desks are empty. It was what the hell? It's like a graveyard.
Right.
So I ended up going with my partner, so I was inside sales. My outside partner went to Prudential and I went with him. So 3 more years of that. And, it's a good paying job. And those are, a lot of people get stuck in that job because it's good paying and so you're scared to leave. It just wasn't for me. I was not passionate about it. I wanted to get out to the outside sales part. And a lot of the folks, I looked young, right? It's kind of hard when you're 24, 26 to tell a 65-year-old person who's worked their whole life how to manage their money.
Right.
So it wasn't something that I really enjoyed. I was okay at it. I was making good money, but I just didn't care. So 3 years at Prudential, and that was in Fort Washington off of the turnpike there. And I lived in Chester County. So I was driving more than an hour each way. I ended up having my newborn baby, Annie, my firstborn. And I was like, why am I doing this? I put on a shirt and tie to drive an hour and 10 minutes, get in car accidents, wait behind car accidents, terrible weather, to go sit at a desk in a shirt and tie. I was like, I want to go out and meet people, right?
Yeah.
I can call people from my house. I don't need a shirt and tie to do that either,
Right.
So I just wasn't happy. And I was just like, you know what? It's funny. My wife's family, you're either in insurance or you're a teacher. So I ended up, I think I want to become an insurance agent. I thought about the things I wanted. And it was, a flexible schedule, come and go as I please. And I thought about when I'm in my 60s, hey, I want to golf. I want to be able to do these things that I see the other insurance agents doing, right? So I want to be able to build that career. I don't want to miss any of my children's anything, right?
Yeah.
So, with a newborn, with my wife was home from, she was a teacher. So her school closed actually. So she got laid off. She's such a planner, was like, hey, I think our school's going to close in 9 months. We should get pregnant. I was like, what? So Annie is born May 26th. School closes like June 15th.
Wow.
And everybody got laid off because the school literally closed. It was a Catholic school. They didn't have enough students. The Archdiocese of Philadelphia closed them. So she collected unemployment for like a year and a half. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to quit my job. I'm going from making 6 figures to making 0.
Right.
And everybody was like, okay, go do it. And, so took out like a small loan just to kind of float our bills. But literally, it was like eating peanut butter and jelly for 2 years. Like it sucked. My wife cried every day for 3 years.
No.
I was like, people are like, how's it going? I'm like, you know what? Honestly, I was like, I've never been more broke, but I've never been happier.
Yeah.
And you have to, can I curse on this?
Yes.
Is that okay? But like Gary Vaynerchuk is somebody I listen to a lot, and he's foul mouthed, right? But he's always like, dude, if you really want to do if you want to be where you want to be, you want to do what you want to do. Sometimes you got to eat shit for a few years.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And I saw the other folks in the family who were not in my same field, but on different levels, still in the insurance business. Nobody was an independent insurance agent. But yeah, I started from scratch, from 0. I had a $24,000 guarantee, which was my mortgage, right? $2,000 a month was my mortgage. And so literally there was no buffer. It was brutal. And I had to figure it out. So, we ate shit for 2-3 years. It just sucked. And like, we didn't go on vacations. You see, and this, we'll kind of come back, I'm getting goosebumps. You come back to like looking at your friends on Facebook and stuff like, hey, they're on vacation. They're riding freaking camels. Like, I can't even go to the grocery store. Right. But you know what? Like, I'm doing this now. I didn't put this in as one of my quotes, but Muhammad Ali, right? Train hard now to be a champion later and to live like a champion. So put in the work, and 2 years of kind of banging my head against the wall, trying to figure it out, had no support, just figuring it out, and finally found my niche. And, I started reading. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why isn't this working? And a lot of this stuff, some of the advice for the entrepreneurs would be like, hey, be patient, right? It'll work. Follow the path, trust the process. And a lot of people give up, right? Everybody wants to be a millionaire by 30, 26, whatever it is, because people see everybody on the internet, these Instagram folks and whatnot. Like every overnight success was like a 15 years in the making.
Right.
You just never heard of them.
Exactly.
What I mean?
Was not like, overnight. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. It's always quote unquote, So that's, 2 years. I quit my job. I had a guarantee of $24,000, which was my mortgage, figured it out. Kind of the start of year 3. Like I said, I was starting to read books and was like, if you want to be successful at something, do one thing well. And I was like, all right. I saw the craft beverage world. I worked in college at Iron Hill Brewery. So I learned how to brew beer. I learned how, again, I was in the bartending and the serving world. I just kept going after it and I enjoyed it. So I just kept in my mind that if I kept doing what I enjoyed, I'd be happy and the money would be a byproduct. The money would come. So I think that would be something that everybody just listen, be patient. If you like it, you're going to do it. And that was my other job, the financial services. I got out of school and I got a job, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. It had benefits, right? I could pay my bills. I was making good money. I was single and I didn't save any. I don't regret it. I had a lot of fun. But like, and nobody teaches financial literacy either. It was like, save your money. Like now I'm like, hey, save 10%, give 5%, invest 5%, 50%, whatever it is. Like put, now I learned what SMART goals are, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and have a time set to them. So these are all things I didn't know. And I am very grateful that, there are books out there. I didn't know to ask people these things. I didn't know how to find a mentor. Go find a mentor. Like you always like look for a mentor.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be some big audacious thing, right? It just needs to be somebody to bounce questions off of. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Somebody's already done it. Ask them. They're probably going to tell you what not to do. Those are all the things that I had to figure out. I didn't, like I said, my mom was a waitress her whole life. I was the first person in my family to go to college, and my parents got divorced at 8. I grew up in a family of, alcohol and abuse and drugs. And it was, it was difficult. So, at 8, I got divorced. My parents got divorced. I never had like a role model. I never had a father figure. Yeah. And, I stayed in touch with my dad, but at 18, he just stopped talking to me, and I went away to college, and that was kind of it. And next time I saw him, he had cancer and he was on his deathbed. And, so I had to figure all that shit out. Like, I learned what not to do from my brother, who was not a good kid.
Right.
So like, instead of me making a lot of those mistakes, I saw him make them. So I avoided those, which has worked out pretty damn well.
Yeah.
But as far as like from a business sense and financial literacy sense, I kind of had to figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
Now I know to ask people. Now I have a great group of mentors. But that's kind of my story. Like, find what you want, go after it, and the money is a byproduct. Happiness first. Money does not make you happy. It is nice when your bills are paid, right? But for how long? So
yeah. Well, no, and I think that's one of the major things that make you incredible. I mean, people who don't know you, you have like cult following in the beer industry. The brewers love you. It's very rare to find someone who like loves their insurance agent, but they love you. And they really,
I love my job.
Right.
Right. So I love my job.
Especially considering what you deal with, you're talking to people when things are falling apart, right? Like you're talking to them when, their worst nightmare just happened. And so talk to us how you, and especially if you think about, the last 2 years of what these people have gone through, especially the brewers, how have you been able to kind of stay so positive in that and stay encouraging of them? What are some of the things that you do to keep such a positive attitude?
My wife has always said, like, I guess she says I'm empathetic. I don't feel like I'm empathetic. I'm working on that. I think I'm pretty good with like emotional intelligence. Some things happen for some reasons. I'm like, I don't feel bad for you. You did that to yourself. Like in that, I'm not talking about my clients or whatever, but I'm just talking about like people who do dumb shit. Like, I don't feel bad for you. You're a dummy, or you didn't try, or whatever it is. So that's where like those things I'm like, you got to put it into work.
Right.
Stop making excuses. There was a time in 2000, I think it was December of 2016. I was cleaning my basement. I was like, I don't know. I just felt again. So this was 2016. I'm in like the end of year 3, 4 of, again, so now I'm 2 years into insurance. I'm not knowing what I'm doing. 2 years of focusing on breweries. Things are starting to pick up. But like, I started Googling, what is my purpose? Why am I here? And I had, a 4-year-old and maybe a 2-year-old at that point. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. And
I stumbled across a YouTube video of Tony Robbins. And it was, talking about how to kick off 2017 and kick ass.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So I just started going down that rabbit hole of gratitude.
Yeah.
And I found journaling, and I found reading 10 pages in the morning. That equals 300 pages a day. So I just started reading, and 10 pages a day, 10 pages in the morning, 10 pages at night, that's 2 books a month. And literally between audiobooks, I have it literally, I keep track of everything. I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
Roughly 40 physical books a year and somewhere between 50 and 70 audiobooks a year.
Yeah.
This year, I have not done that. I have specifically only been listening to podcasts about cryptocurrency. Only.
Really? Only?
Yeah. Only. So I'm probably 50 hours into like all things crypto and blockchain, NFTs. And
interesting.
Yeah. I find it interesting. So, but yeah, you can see behind me that this 5-minute journal has been the thing that has changed my life. And I always grew up, like I said, I didn't have much. So when I got something, I kept it. If you think back to the song Give It Away Now by Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? That song is about a sweater that Sinead O'Connor gave to Anthony Kiedis. It was her absolute favorite sweater. And she said, she's like, why are you giving this to me? This is your favorite. She's like, if you want something, give it away.
Wow.
Right? Give first. Like, I don't have any tattoos, but I think that would be the tattoo that I want, would be give first. So growing up, I never gave. I didn't know to give. I didn't know to volunteer. It wasn't something that I was taught. And that's something that my wife's family has always done. Sleep over at a homeless shelter on Thanksgiving, like do that stuff. I joined Rotary. Rotary is a game changer, right? Now that I have kids, and we help kids who like they come from the worst places in the world. They get treated horribly. And like, then they come in, we help them in certain ways, and then they come in and have lunch with us and thank us. And it's like, it hits home because I have kids,
Yeah.
Gratitude. No matter what it is, it comes back to gratitude. And the other part of that is ego. If somebody says something bad about you and you get offended, that's your ego coming to play. It's funny too. My daughters now, it's like they'll be fighting or whatever. My little one will be upset. and my oldest will go, they're 9 and 7, 2 girls. And Lily be like, well, I'm upset. I don't like the way, it's just funny how she says it, like, I don't like the way that made me feel. I'm like, that's pretty, holy crap. Or, and Annie, like, you're making me mad. And Annie will go, my oldest will go, it's not possible for me to make you mad. You're letting yourself get mad. I'm like, holy crap. So it's working. These kids are sponges.
Right.
Or like so Lily, my youngest will be like, I can't figure it out. I quit. And my oldest is going, you just haven't tried long enough. You haven't tried hard enough. Keep working, keep practicing. I'm like, nice. Oh my God. And she's super disciplined. She is on day 143 of Duolingo Spanish app.
Wow.
Oh my God. So she's like, she's like me. Gotta have it. She likes a routine.
Yeah.
But, coming back to those things, just the mindset, right? That I have a routine every morning. It's important to have an AM routine. It's important to have a PM routine. Not many people talk about the PM routine. But AM routine, I wake up same time every day, and I walk downstairs. I fill up a glass with water. I stick it in a microwave for 1 minute and 10 seconds. I pull it out. I drop Himalayan sea salt in it and lemon juice, and I drink it as fast as possible. So that gets your body to like alkaline, and it also hydrating, right? 20 ounces of water or something first thing in the morning, changes your world. If you're ever sad, hungry, headache, drink 8 ounces of water, probably fix it.
Yeah.
Then I do my stretches and I work out. And I need to do that stuff essentially before the family wakes up, because I need like my time. I want to wake up. That's why I don't love the weekends, because I wake up. I try to get my like 8 hours of sleep on the weekend, and usually everybody wakes up before me. So when I wake up, it's just like a cannon went off. I'm like, oh my God, I am not ready for this. And I'm cranky, Right. I like my routine.
Yeah.
But whether it's meditating for 5 minutes in the morning as well, those are all things that I've found as of 2017, like January 1st. I started tracking all that. I've tried different journals, always come back to the 5-minute journal. My wife, the same. We've tried different ones, best parenting book, whatever, best day, some of the athlete ones. I always come back to the 5-minute journal. And it's really just as simple as 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things what would make today great. I am. So affirmations, and I've been writing, like, I am blessed. I am strong. I am fit. I am a partner at Arthur Hall Insurance at age 38. And I'm 38, and I just had the meeting of becoming a partner,
Hey.
So, just manifesting that, throwing it out into the universe. Not, The Secret it's a good book and it works, but it's just like, you can't follow it to a T, but like when you throw stuff out into the universe, or like I'll think about a song and then I'll hop in my car and it's on, and I'm like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
What gratitude. And then at the end of the night, what 3 things happened today that were amazing? And so I trick my kids every morning into journaling verbally in the car, right? So I take them to school every morning, and, Annie, Lily, Annie, what are you grateful for? Lily, you're 2. Next one is, what would make today great? And then I am. And then Lily every morning goes, I am awesome.
That's awesome.
It makes me laugh.
It's so important that
you got to set it up. You got to set up that positive vibe. And there was something also that I learned that we instilled at dinner time. So many people go to work. They have 90 million things go well. And they have that one thing that they had a bad phone call, and it happened at noon, like 5-6 hours ago. How was your day? Oh, it sucked. I had this one thing. You completely forget about all the amazing things that happened, or whose lives you changed, or who you gave to, or, who you helped feed or something. And what we do at the dinner table, we say our quick prayer, and then we go around the table and say, what was your favorite part of the day?
Yeah.
Because to us, that sets up, hey, now we're thinking positive, thinking about those positive things, help you reflect. And then it carries on that positivity until bedtime.
Yeah.
So those are just little things. And I didn't start doing all of those things at once. I'd recommend anybody start doing one at a time.
Yeah.
Just every morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Before your bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for. You don't need a journal. You just have a piece of paper. Keep it on your app, Google Drive or something.
Well, and I think that that's so important, especially your dinner routine. I mean, I feel like for business owners, especially, even though we're adults now, it's that, it's so hard to see the good sometimes that you've done or how far you've come. And especially, I think in hospitality, as you're dealing with a public that's stressed and, frustrated, and prices are going up, I think it's so hard for these business owners. especially in breweries and, restaurants too, that you're to remember that you're doing good things and you're, kicking butt every day. And I feel like what I've seen, and I'm sure you have seen too, it's that, the people that are able to show up every day and be like, we're awesome. They're the ones that are going to do better than the ones who are like, someone came in yesterday and they were so like, and they're 30 minutes later still talking about this one customer who came in 3 days ago. It doesn't really matter. But, I feel like the ones who are able to see the good and have the confidence. So much of what you talked about is the things that every business owner has to do, right? You have to have that mindset. And what else do you see in, maybe a difference maker between, the business owners who've been able to really like crush it in the last couple of years and the ones who've, struggled a little more? Are there other intangible things that you've seen?
Yeah. I think like when somebody shows up to your establishment, it's because they want to be there, because they like it, because it's the food, the service, the ambiance, or the people. It's usually the people. Like, hey, we love being greeted at the door, and we like the music that's playing. So like they're there and they're coming back because they like it there. Be grateful for that. Right? They don't have to go there. They can go other places. So hone that in. And what you just mentioned, some of those items is ask them, what do you like? What do you like about it here? What would you like to see? What else would you prefer? What would make this even better? Right. So ask questions, take survey with your, literally 3 questions of servers walking up to a table. I'm like, hey, just a quick question. I see you here all the time. Why do you come back? Like, what is it that you like about this place? And build on that. Talk about that in your meetings. How do we enhance the experience? We talked about boosting taproom sales, right? There are like 3 questions that, your beer tenders or servers can ask that can boost sales by 10%. And they're not annoying to customers. It's more like, hey, would you like another beer? Or, hey, I saw you were drinking that beer. Before you leave, did you know that we have 4-packs of that you can take with you? Yeah. And you can have contests too. You can have your servers, like the person who gets the most answers or has the most sales, like give them a gift card, right? That's what the study shows. They would do these things for a $25 Chick-fil-A gift card.
Right.
All right. It's like, but people want to be at your establishment. You have great beer. It's a fun place to hang out. You have parking. It's easy to get to. And it's just a place for people to like unwind and relax. And that's why like Starbucks was always successful, as it became a cozy place to sit and enjoy your coffee and kind of get your mind reset. Yeah. That's where you go. Like, I don't go anywhere to get drunk. I go to like unwind and just have a beer and take a breath. Just like, we're good. Right. So I think those are things, just asking. That was Julie from Not Your Hobby Marketing was saying, just like walk around and ask a couple of questions. What are they like? What are they seeing? Share things with them, give them free samples, let them try other things.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that there so many times we forget that, like you said, people are choosing to come. So they like your establishment already. Like, it's not something that needs to have big changes. Sometimes it's just little changes. Yeah. So and, what do you say? Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, prices are going up of raw materials and things like that. So people are there to drink your beer. If it's $6, $7, or $8, they're not going to get up and leave. Right. So it's okay. Like, we're upset about gas prices or we're upset about the cost of raw materials. You can't control that. So don't worry about it. Right. All you can control is what you can control. And that a lot of times is the quality of your product, the ambiance of your place, and just giving that fun experience for folks, right? Yeah. If they have to pay an extra $1 for a beer, they don't care. They're there because they like it there, right? Increase their experience, Right. So, but they can feel that. Like if everyone, you mentioned that person who, had a rough day yesterday. I try to give myself, hey, I had a bad day. Something happened, 24 hours. Then you got to get over it. You got to move on.
You got to suck it up. Yeah.
You can't control it. You can't worry about it. Don't worry about it, right? Control what you can control. Everything will kind of sort itself out otherwise. And that I think, I just had my buddies were texting. There's like 68 text messages. The Eagles and the Cowboys last 4 NFL drafts. I'm like, why? This is not putting food on your table. Who cares? Like, I am not in the Eagles locker room. I do not control their draft picks. I don't care. Like, I can't care. It doesn't matter.
I know. I know.
What are we doing?
It's so true. And I feel like, you and I have a lot of similarities, especially like timing, that I started in accounting in 2007. So very similar with like all of a sudden you look around and everybody's gone but you.
Yeah.
But I also feel like in the recent years, right, of COVID and now inflation, and I feel like that sometimes helps to put it into perspective because other, people don't realize that sometimes, but things are, cyclical, and like you said, the inflation and everything, those are things we truly can't control. Yeah. It's,
the housing market, right? You're going to sell your house for a lot. Now you're going to go buy a house for a lot. When I bought my house, it immediately bought my house at X price immediately. 2 weeks later, it was worth it went down 20%. I'm like, well, this is fun. But now it's up, right? So patience, timing, time in the market. You can't time the market, right? Things are just, gotta be patient. Yeah. It just is what it is. It's cyclical. You look back at history and I guess what you can do is learn about what happened, right? And help to kind of predict the future. And that's why that whole studying of the crypto and all this stuff is it's not going away. I want to know as much about it as I can because there's so many damn acronyms. I'm like, I don't know what, hieroglyphics. So all we can do is learn,
Yeah. No, you've given such great answers. And I really feel like there's so many words of wisdom here for people.
It's just like we practice, Dan.
No, it's true though. I mean, it's so many good lessons about mindset and routines and everything, and controlling what you can control, which is your product and doing it the best you can.
What's that? You ever hear the sunscreen song?
I love the sunscreen song.
You're having a bad day, you put on the sunscreen song. If you don't know what the sunscreen song is, I think it's called Everybody's Free by Baz Luhrmann. It is a college or high school graduation speech put to a beat. And
that is so funny.
So it was on the Peloton bike the other day and I pulled up a race that I had done before. So I raced myself and I took a picture of it or a video and I was like, the race is long. And in the end, it's only with yourself.
So good.
Nothing else matters. And then the other part of that is, worrying is trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing a stick of bubble gum. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
No, those are so good. So where can people connect with you?
You can find me, I would say on Instagram would be always a good spot. Beer Mighty Things podcast. That's where I spend most of my days. My wife will send me stuff to my personal. I'm like, I didn't see that because I just stay on the podcast. Kyle at craftbrewinginsurance.com. I'm heavy on LinkedIn. I'm heavy on Instagram. And I'm heavy at my desk, just grinding it away. Controlling what I can control.
Exactly. No, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much again for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you, man.